Hi and welcome to the last lesson of getting the MySQL and FreeRADIUS up and running. So we've completed getting everything ready in the previous lessons from a MySQL perspective. So now let's concentrate on configuring up FreeRADIUS and other bits and pieces that we actually need. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a soft link to the SQL module. And that's going to go to etc. FreeRADIUS 3.0 mods enabled. Okay, so again, I've already got this ready. So, and I'm sudoed again. So we're going to create this soft link. Look, so let's do that now. Okay, now we'd actually need to edit the SQL file. Okay, so let's go ahead and vi that. Okay, now what I would normally do is I would normally tidy it up by getting rid of all the commented sections in these files. You know, all of this sort of section here, I'd get rid of it, but we're not going to do that for the sake of this. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to go down to SQL, the section that's SQL, which is here. Remember, it's always within these parentheses. Okay, and what we need to do is change the dialect, because what you'll notice is that the dialect at the moment is going to be SQLite, and here it is here. So we'll escape I for an insert, and we'll go across to here, and we're going to change this to MySQL. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's put in there MySQL. Okay, we need to change the driver from RLM SQL null to RLM SQL dialect. Okay, so we'll go down until we see this. Now we don't have to write it in. All we have to do is comment out this one. So we'll comment out that and we uncomment this one. Okay, that's that section. Now there's no actual TLS being used, so anything between the TLS parentheses and the TLS itself, in fact, can be commented out. So this section here, so we can actually comment all of this out because we're not doing any TLS on this. All right, if need be, we can do that at a later date. So let's just comment all of this out. Okay. Then what we need to do is we'll uncomment the connection info section and add in the connection details. Okay, so let's go down to the connection side. So it's here. So what we need to do is we need to get rid of these. Okay, and we need to put in here what we're utilizing. So the server is going to be the local host. The only thing that we need to change here, remember we put it as radpass1, didn't we? So we need to put a 1 in there. Okay, and then a few lines lower, we need to make sure that we've got the right Radius database picked, and we have, because we called it Radius. If you called it anything else, then you will need to change this to whatever you called it. Okay. So that's that section, and then we need to go further down, and it's quite a long way down this bit, to read clients. Okay, this is the next section that we need to look at, and it should come after pools. So if we go down to that, here we are, we come down to it, read clients, yes. Okay, so we can uncomment that. And then we need to go to client table NAS. That is there, so that's fine. Okay, now we need to change the group rights of this file. Okay, so if we save this, so we're going to save this and we're going to do the changes that we require. Okay, so we're doing I'm putting the sudo in here because it shows you how to use it. I could theoretically change that out, take that out, sorry. So we're changing the group FreeRADIUS, we're changing it to FreeRAD, etc. FreeRADIUS 3.0 SQL. Okay, so it's that SQL one. So we've done that. We're going to change the owner as well. Okay, to FreeRAD. Okay, so we're changing the owner of this SQL file to FreeRAD. Okay, now we can restart the Radius service. So we can do system rather than no, let's do a restart. Restart FreeRADIUS. Okay, let's just check that that's running okay. And that's running fine. Okay, as we can see here, and there's no errors anywhere. So we know that's running fine. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install and configure Radman, which is the GUI front end. It's a basic GUI front end. You may want to use something like Delo Radius or something like that. Okay. Now I'm only going to put this in here to show you where you can get it from. Okay, I'm going to remove this in a minute because it's not a command. So you can go to github.com netcore.jsa Radman, how to deploy it. Okay, so you can go there and get this. Now, it does tell you how to deploy this, but I'll show you anyway. So we have to install Open JDK, so the Java Development Kit. We're going to do 11. There's two choices, 8 or 11. You'll see that on the website. On the GitHub site for Radman. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that a minute. We obviously need this for it to run. So we'll just wait for that to install. It may take a while. I won't actually pause the video here. We'll let it run. We'll let it go through. Okay, so that's installed. Then what we have to do is we have to download the Radman zip files and copy across to the server. So I'm actually going to do that now. I have downloaded them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that across. Okay, and then I'll carry on with the video once I've done that. Okay, so that's copied across, as you can see there. Let's just clear the screen a minute so that you can see that I've got that. So it's ls-la. So I've got it here. So let's do, I believe we've got unzip. I think we had already downloaded that or installed that. So let's just do an unzip radman star.zip. Okay, so it hasn't been done yet. So apt -y install unzip. Let's just quickly get that done. Okay, and let's do that command again. Okay, so we've got our files here. So what we're going to do now is we are going to create a couple of directories that we need to create. So let's clear this. So we need to do a make directory opt radman. Okay, so we're going to do that there. And we need to make etc radman. Okay, now what we're going to do is with those files that we've got, ls-la, look again. So what we're going to do initially is we're going to move radman.jar to op radman.jar. Okay, as you can see here, we're going to move that to there. We're going to move radman properties example into etc radman properties. Okay, we're going to move radman default into etc default. And we're going to move Radman service into etc Radman. Sorry, etc systemd system Radman service. Okay, here. Okay, so that's that part done. So we'll clear it again. What we need to do is we actually need to edit the Radman properties file now. So if we do a vi, in fact, actually, let's just move to it. That'll be easier. cd / etc / Radman. Okay, and if we ls, we should see Radman properties. So we'll vi Radman properties. Okay, so what we need to add in here is we need to add in server IP address. Okay, so I know that mine's 150, for example. Okay, the address here. So those are parts that you'll want to add in. So again, I've got this set. I've actually got a slightly different address, but I will change it to be 150. Okay. What we need to do in here is we need to make sure we put the server address in here. So what I'm going to put in here is localhost. Okay, so let's change this to be localhost. Okay, and we're going to put in here the DB name is going to be radius. So we can pop that in here, because as you can see, it's the radius database up here that we're talking about. Okay, so we'll pop in here radius, server time zone equals UTC. But what I want to do is I'm going to add in, although we're not using TLS, I'm going to add this in anyway. Okay, so we're going to do ampersand enabled TLS protocols. So we're going to do enabled TLS protocols. Okay, and we're going to do equals TLS version 1.2, because if we put that in there now, then we're all ready for when we do the certificates, which we'll do at a later date. Okay, the primary objective here is to get everything up and running as quickly as possible for you. So the username in here is the Radius database. Who did we create? Well, we created Radius. And what was the password? The password was radpass1. Okay, so that's the first section completed. Then what we've got is we've got the internal database, which is the Radman database. Okay, so again, we put the server address in, and we're going to call it localhost again. And DB name this time is Radman. Okay, and again, we're going to pop in there the server time zone UTC, and we'll just add the last bit onto it, which I have here as well. Let's just move that over there, and we'll pop that in there. Okay, and the DB user here is going to be Radman, and the password is going to be radpass1 again, because that's what we configured. Okay, the rest of it we should not need to change. So if we do an escape :WQ and save that, okay, now we should at this point, let's just check everything. System CTL status FreeRADIUS. Yep. System CTL status MySQL. Yep. So now let's do a system CTL start Radman, and we'll do a system CTL status Radman. Okay, you've got to wait for all four. There should be 4 lines come up, so we'll just wait for those, because otherwise it hasn't started properly, and it does take a few seconds. There's the 4th one. Let's make sure it doesn't fall over at this point, and it hasn't. Right, okay, so what we can do now, okay, is we can actually start the GUI for Radman. We should actually be able to start this now. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so what you'll notice is up here, what we have to put in here is not HTTPS because we're not using TLS. So we just put in there HTTP 192. Well, this is my address, so it's your server address :port 8089. Again, it tells you this in on the Radman GitHub pages. Okay, so you'll notice here that we don't have any login credentials at the moment. So where do we get those from? Well, once you've brought this GUI up, we have to go back to the server. So let's do that. Let's go back to the server. And we have to look in the log file at Radman. So if we do a tail -f Radman, okay, what you'll notice here at the bottom, look, use these credentials. Okay, so let's grab that and we'll bring that back up again. Okay, and we're going to pop that in there. And then the password, let's grab that. And we're going to pop that in there. And then we're going to log in. Okay, so here we are at the GUI interface of Radman. So the first thing we can actually test is we could go to System Users. In fact, we will do that. We go to Create, and let's just create Clive. We'll do the normal password, admin local, create. Now, I should then theoretically be able to log out of here, log in as Clive with a password that I've just set, and log in, and there we go. Okay, so I'm in as an admin, System Users. So okay, so how do we configure to test this? Well, the first thing is, let's create a user. Create one. Let's create one for me, and we'll just put in there test user. Okay, let's create that. Okay, user groups, we'll just create a test one. Let's just call it test group. Oh, doesn't really matter about that, to be honest. We're not going to use the group anyway, but I'm just showing you. Okay, attributes. Well, we're actually going to utilize a clear text password, so we need to make sure we do this correctly. Clear text password, because all we want to do is a test. Okay, test attribute for FreeRADIUS. Okay, so we can create that. Then we have our NAS, sorry, not on NAS groups, on NAS, so we create that. Now the name is the IP address of the server. So let's put in there 192.168.16.150, which is mine. In here, we can just put anything we want. It's just a name. Server and port, we don't care about at the moment. All we care about now is a secret. So I'm just going to call it secret. Okay, if we have a look, that's all I've called it, look, secret. Okay, we'll create that. And the last thing we need to do is to create our authentication. So we assign an attribute. We assign it to Clive. Type is user. The attribute is going to be clear text password. We'll do a : equals, and the value, we'll just put it as testing. Okay, and we'll assign that. Now, because we're doing that in this system, what we'll do is we'll go back to our server, and we'll do a restart of FreeRADIUS. So a systemctl restart FreeRADIUS. Okay, and then systemctl status FreeRADIUS, and it's all running fine. Okay, now do we want to check that that has actually worked? So let's go into MySQL -u root -p, and we'll put in our password. Okay, and we'll use radius. Okay, so let's do a show tables. Now, the one we're going to be looking at is we want to look at NAS and we want to look at RAD check. to see if that data has been put in there. So let's do select star from NAS, and there you go. There it is. There's our data inserted into the database. Yes, it's not encrypted because we have to get the chap and everything set up. I just wanted to show you the basics initially. Okay, so let's have a look at select star from rad check. Let's see what we've got there. And there you go. Okay, and there's my information. So we can now exit SQL. Okay, now what we've got to do here is, and I always forget, so my apologies for this, which way round to do it. So let's do a rad test, Clive, and we know that my password is testing, well, it tells us there. We'll do localhost and 1812, and the secret was that. Now that isn't going to work. So what we'll do next is, it's more than likely this. So we're going to put in there FreeRADIUS. Okay, it's one of these. Let's put in there 192.168.16.150. And there we go. Right, okay. So because I put the NAS address in as that was the address I had to put rather than the local host, even though this is the local host. Okay, so we receive back the access accept. Okay, because it's all correct. So that's our very, very basic SQL configured. Okay, with FreeRADIUS, with a GUI front end. Like I said, if you want to use DalaRadius, or I think there's Radius Desk as well, then you'll need to read up on how to use that, because I'm just I'm using the basic Radman here, which is the Radius Manager GUI front end. Okay, so that shows us what we can do. What you'll have to do is you'll have to play with the Radman to see how it exactly works, and you'll need to know your attributes, but there are a list of attributes. If you have a look on Google, if you have a search on Google, you'll see all the attributes that you can utilize, because we're going to be using others anyway, like IP address, net mask, etc., etc. We may even do routing as well, so that you see that sent to the CPE via the L2TP tunnels. Okay, so if you have any questions regarding this video, just let me know, and I'll try and deal with them for you. Okay, thank you.